When I think about Northern California, the first thing that comes to mind is the gorgeous rolling hills.
The trees and the parks and just a real sense of family.
Rolling hills, the little valley.
And when I think of Northern California, that's what I think of, is people having a good time out in the sun, out in the open.
You know, it's amazing hills with trees all in there, and they're going to cut and slash it into pads and build houses on it.
The Tassajara Valley is an agricultural area east of the edge of the city of San Ramon. It's got an olive orchard, it's got cattle grazing on the hill. It's a beautiful place where people will go out for a bike ride because it's such a gorgeous area. There's folks who are raising horses out there, so it's really the rural character of the area is really a gem.
I've lived out here for 22 years. We built this house. When we moved out here, all we bought was a lot, and it was just bare dirt, so we had to do everything. When we first moved out here, Tassajara was very sleepy, very quiet, and then the development at both ends of the road happened.
This isn't the first time that the Tassajara Valley's been under threat. Fortunately, the voters have locked in place open space protections that prevent major development from happening. Now we're facing an instance where there's an attempt to break those existing protections that keep the area preserved for agriculture and open space.
Good afternoon. Would like to call to order the City Council meeting for July 19, 2010.
The city wants to expand what's called the urban growth boundary, and right now that growth boundary basically ends at the edge of Doherty Valley, which is just over my fence and into these hills here.
The city now wants to move that urban growth boundary out to the center of Tassajara Boulevard, and in the process allow development on the western side of Tassajara Boulevard.
And I think the key terminology here for the city is how it's developed, not if it's developed.
The public hearing portion is now open.
I, among others, have expressed my opposition to the expansion of the urban growth boundary.
And you really have to ignore the history of what it means to move an urban growth boundary. It's called a growth boundary for obvious reasons.
You don't see property owners out in Tassajara Valley supporting this measure.
The Tassajara Valley is a very great place, and it's now part of our family.
And so I ask you to consider the voters of San Ramon, make this less complicated, and stand up as leaders and vote against this. All right, with that, close. And with that, we have a motion on the floor, item 3.1B. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Hudson?
Aye.
Councilmember Livingstone?
Aye.
Councilmember Perkins?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Rowley?
Aye.
Mayor Wilson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
So at this point, San Ramon, if you'll pardon my expression, appears to be doing a land grab.
This removes the single largest hurdle that a developer faces, and while the city would have more control, the city also is green lighting development.
That's development that we simply don't need. Right now, the city of San Ramon has approved 4,600 new homes within its existing urban growth boundary.
And that more than fits the city's growth projections over the 20-year time horizon of the general plan.
So I think from a regional perspective, there's two really important things to know about the Tassajara Valley. First, it is one of the most important wildlife corridors we have in this region. It is a critical linkage from Mount Diablo to Mount Hamilton, all the way to the coast. And then second, it's really important that we protect these urban growth boundaries that we've established and that we don't let developers believe that they can be broken at any time. If we don't hold the lines, we won't be able to control sprawl and protect open space in this region.
Greenbelt Alliance has been working to help the residents of San Ramon get involved in protecting the Tassajara Valley. We've been educating residents of the community, helping to create a community campaign where volunteers can play a role in educating their friends and neighbors. We're holding forums, doing everything that we can to make sure that on November 2nd, Measure W is defeated and the Tassajara Valley remains protected.
We've got a record number of homes for sale and in foreclosure, and we don't have a whole lot of open spaces, rural spaces, within 10 minutes.
See all this open space, and that's kind of a unique thing to have in the Bay Area, especially when we're so busy and clustered.
I know how urban sprawl happens and how it occurs and how you lose community identity by everything running together.
It's important to preserve our open spaces.
Once it's gone for good.